Welcome to your Writing 121 class. Today, we are moving forward with our narrative modeling assignment. Today, we're going to look at how the writers of our example essays, and I am specifically talking about the one that we're modeling, which is They Always Call You Miss. I'm talking about a standout student example called They Always Want the Doctor, which you should have already read. So if you haven't read these things, you might want to push pause on this, go read the assignment guidelines and read every link in the assignment guidelines. And the other example that we're going to be talking about today is They Always Want Lower Prices. And I'll just let you know that, yes, it's a modeling assignment. You don't have to model the title. The students of those papers did model the title. That's not like mandatory. But what we're going to be focusing on today is how we're just going to ask ourselves questions about how they came up with the images. How did they come to such vivid descriptions of the environments that they want to write about? And here's the way that we're going to arrive at that answer is we're going to imagine that they made lists. We're going to look at the lists that we can derive from those. And to be honest, I'm not interviewing each one of those people. And probably Alison Clement, who wrote our model, she may have made lists, or maybe the list just appeared to her as she was composing. But for the rest of us mortals, it's really good for us to pause and look around and list what you can see, touch, taste, hear, and smell. And when we do that, when we list what we can see, hear, touch, taste, and smell, without thinking of prose, we're not even writing a paragraph, we're just kind of getting to know our room. And for just a couple seconds here before I take us into our class with our students, so things that I can see in this room. Now, actually, I should probably do things that I can see behind me because you can see them. So what do I see behind me? Well, it's a washed out view. I can actually see, on my screen, I can see the reflection of a lamp above my head that you cannot see. But you can see the skylight on the porch. You can see the subtle tonal changes in color as I kind of move around. I see an older, bald-headed, overweight man. You can see him too, but he's got a beautiful spirit. I can tell that about him. So, no, but look around your own room. So I'm now looking up and I see an oil painting on my right that was made by my friend Tom. And it happens to be of me. It's lovely. I also see below that, my son made me a sculpture based on my novel, Rare Species, soon to be published. I see our sliding glass door, which has on it the window clings of a decade ago when my kids did window clings, and we just left them up. And one of them is a sea serpent blowing fire. Perhaps it's a dragon. It's always looked a bit like a sea serpent to me. It's a sea serpent blowing fire that's wearing a fez. So it's very fanciful. I also see the sun. I also see a stick figure holding up the earth on its shoulders, and that represented my son's challenges. He felt that middle school was challenging for a variety of reasons, as it should have been, because he did suffer a hemorrhagic stroke. And you'll notice that I didn't need to include that weird detail, but maybe you were like, wait, what? Yeah, so look for interesting details. Look for the connections that the images in the environment that you're going to write about make for you. In fact, I do see, and I hesitate to share this, but there is kind of like another sun there, but it's a sun with a huge, it's like a Pac-Man sun with teeth, and it's placed to the left of the poor stick figure holding the earth on its shoulders, and I believe that that represents me as a dad, as I needed to encourage my son to do his homework. And this was after the hemorrhagic stroke, which cost him all of his language and his math. And he had to do all this therapy to get back his language, but he did. And so then just to say a happy ending on that little narrative piece. Actually, if I were trying to write an essay right now, I could do it just about my son's hemorrhagic stroke, because left of that, I can see the paintings. He's an art student right now. He's at Northwest Pacific College of Art, NPC. Oh, goal. PNCA, Pacific Northwest College of Art. Yeah. So when we take time to list, an essay just begins to form. And to be honest, if I were modeling it, there's more to having a hemorrhagic stroke than most people know. I could write that essay right now, and literally, it almost started to come out, and I actually I feel a little emotional. Like I'm putting this up online. There's no time for me to do my self therapy. I will tell you that I left out a detail. I left out, and I could have included it actually. Another wall hanging that we have is a collage that my wife made in 1993, commemorating our honeymoon. We were married in 1992, and we went to Europe, and I have this fantastic collage that represents all these different places that we went. But you can see how I just made a list of of items that truly would connect around an essay having to do with. There's more to having a hemorrhagic stroke or having a son who's had a hemorrhagic stroke, and obviously those are the nuts and bolts, barest outlines. And I haven't even described the images, but trust me, they're heavier than the window clings. My kids have been doing art for a long time. All right, you will now. No, I can just edit this, but I won't. You know what? We're just gonna go dive right in. Are we? I'm thinking probably not. I'm gonna